Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Suit Up Geek Fix podcast. Today, we are doing a spoiler review, spoiler breakdown of the finale of Miss Marvel. Joining us, as always, the Queen, Manda, at AMX NDA Reviews. Check out all of her amazing stuff at Canon Cinema. What's up, Manda?
I am having a great day. Miss Marvel this morning just brightened my day, and I'm so excited to talk about this finale and everything that it means in the future. So I'm stoked.
Love it. And then we've got Ryan down there at Just Ryan again. He is Bat Nips. What's up, man?
Yo, I gotta say, this has been quite the crazy last week with Marvel, with Thor kind of feeling, I'll just say inconsequential, not based off any feelings towards the film, but then you look at this finale and just like the last 5-10 minutes sets up so fucking much alone. And you're sitting here, I'm just like, I'm ready for it, but I'm tired of them giving us the fucking theme song. Just give us the X-Men already. That's all I gotta say, Marvel. That's all I gotta say.
We have Caitlin in the house saying, hey, everyone, I'm excited to talk about this finale. We're talking general impressions. We're going to talk about favorite moments. We're going to talk about that holy shit moment that we got in this one and where we're kind of going into phase 5 with the Marvels. Let's start off with Manda. What's your just general impressions from the finale?
So I didn't like episodes 4 or 5. I felt like they were just so disjointed from the rest of the season in the first half. And then this one, they just hit the ground running. And I felt like it was more grounded than 4 and 5. And I think that's why I liked it so much. And you just get a sense of like community banding together with Kamala. And that's what I love so much. That everyone was like, okay, she's a superhero. The whole family aspect was great too. I felt like this was more in sync with the first half, like the first 2 episodes of the series, and I just loved it. I thought it was a great finale. They stuck the landing. One of the few MCU shows that actually did stick the landing, which I'm very surprised. So I think that they set up the finale to be really strong, and this is what we got today. So yeah, I'm just really happy with it.
Love it. So what about you, Bat Nips? What was your kind of just general impressions of this?
So, if you guys go and watch our first 2 reviews, I think all 4 of us were super fucking ecstatic about how the show is going. And the 3rd episode, I gave a little bit of leeway to, because maybe it was the mid-season. Who knows what they were trying to push forward. But 4 hit and then 5 hit, I'm like, oh my god, bro, just hit me with the fucking train in this show. Like, please. I was starting to, I felt really disappointed after last week. And I don't want to say like a lot of my hope went away for this finale, but I wasn't feeling confident that it would turn out well enough. And I think it was a really good finale.
Caitlin says, I really liked the finale. They managed to tie everything together pretty well. And I think you're right, Ryan. Like I do, like as a lover of the show, it's one of my favorites, and we'll talk about where this fits compared to the rest of the MCU shows. But less villains, the better. I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
When the show kind of centers around Kamala and her amazing family and her friends, like that's when this show truly, I think, shines. I really enjoyed it as well, Caitlin. I thought it was an awesome finale. I think it's funny that some of these Disney Plus shows have more connectivity to the MCU than some of the other films. It's unbelievable. Like I have so many theories from the end of this show that probably we're going to hear a lot about at San Diego Comic-Con and moving forward. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But I agree, like the show was definitely dragged down by some crappy villains. I can't deny that. But there was so much charm in the rest of this project that it truly makes it great for me. And I know a lot of fans consider that the Fantastic Four is Marvel's best family, but I think the Fantastic Four has some pretty large shoes to fill because I think Kamala's family truly shined in this finale. There were some amazing moments, truly soulful moments in this finale and in the other episodes that really left an impression on me. And I said many times in these reviews, like this show is just way, way, way more than a superhero movie. It's way more about Kamala becoming a superhero. Like everything up until this point, because of those moments in the first 5 episodes with her family, I thought made these big moments absolutely shine. They were truly magical. You had her mom giving her the costume and finally accepting her. You had Kamala's dad giving her the name Miss Marvel, as he proudly stares at her like running away in the sky. Those were epic, man. And this show, I think, did such a good job of just reeling me in with those like realistic, relatable tones and characters and family settings. I just adored it. And I think my other biggest takeaway of this show, and we'll get to it a little bit later, was the X-Men theme. If this is like if they're going to give us, they gave it to us in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. They gave it to us here. They give us the little guitar riff. If that's like, if it's not a lot of data, but if they truly give us the X-Men theme for everything moving forward, man, from the 97 animated series, like that is another win for Miss Marvel, in my book at least. Any other kind of general impressions before we go into best moments?
All I'll say right now is I really think that Kamran was just a nothing character for this story.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll go into complaints later, but like I truly think that it's the clandestines by themselves that brought most of this show down for me.
Totally.
And I only say this as a negative right now because that's the only real negative I have with this show is all my problems just go back to the clandestines. And I felt like they were built up to ultimately just be wasted by that 4th or 5th episode. Yeah. And I think that was part of my reason going into the 5th episode, like, what the fuck are they going to do? And I think they had a more compelling antagonist with the DODC,
Damage Control.
Yeah, damage control. I can't figure out the whole name, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
By the way, I have a theory about that too. We're gonna get to that.
I think the agent we saw from No Way Home that appeared in this is gonna start having major roles in the MCU going forward. And honestly, I thought he was going to turn out to be one of the main antagonists when you first see him. He plays a more antagonistic figure, and then they kind of just bring out this random ass woman agent. And then he just turns out to be a better guy by the end of the season. I'm like, okay, I like that he's helping, but man, I don't know. I really like this new cop character that they're adding. I hope they do a little bit more, but I really don't know where he's going to show up next.
And Caitlin says Department of Damage Control.
Yeah, Department of Damage Control. DODC. At least I got the acronym correct.
Right? I am definitely kind of getting tired of the Phase 4, like, corrupt government, type of thing. We get it. All right. Kaylin also says it's Iman, right? Is that how you say it?
Iman
Vellani.
Yeah. Perfectly casted. I could not agree more. Every single scene she's in this show, she looks so happy and excited and just bubbly. It's amazing.
I love her.
I'll say this right now. I think Iman Vellani is one of the best casted roles in the MCU in, I would say, maybe the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I think they truly found something special in her. Mm-hmm. And aside from the Captain Marvel post-credit scene, I think I would like to see a Ms. Marvel film. I'll say that right now. I like what you said before, Deebs. I think this family at its core is Kamala having this power and having this family. The family works, but now we got to remember that Nakia and Bruno both went off to California. So I'm really curious, like, what the family dynamic might be going forward without those two. Because I think brother just shines in this episode.
I could not agree more, especially with what Caitlin said. And like, this show is so well done that I think there's an argument to be made that her family is her superpower, not the Bangle. And I think that's just so heartwarming. That concept is just so heartwarming to me. I could go on and on and on about that kind of stuff. But
I will say, I'm kind of confused at why they kind of just like dropped the Bangle all of a sudden. It kind of feels like the Bangle was the interim thing to introduce them to get the mutants drop at the end and to have it a little bit more shocking. Because I don't know, I feel like they put way too much detail in that thing for it to just be a ploy like that. I don't know.
All right.
We'll get to it.
No, we're doing it now. You already brought it up.
I started it.
Let's do it. We're rolling now. Let's go into the big reveal here. We'll get into the best moments a little bit. Well, this is arguably one of the better moments of the
best
finale.
moment.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let's get into the big reveal that
Take it.
Kamala Khan is the MCU's first reveal that she's the first mutant here. We had a amazing moment between Bruno and Kamala where Bruno reveals that she has a mutation in her gene. I'm going to throw it to you, Ryan, because I have a lot to say about this.
I thought it was crazy when they said mutants, and then the 92 stinger comes in, and bro, I literally just screamed, no fucking way that they literally just threw the 92 cartoon theme song into Miss Marvel of all things. Like, the last spot I would imagine that audio I'd hear come from, especially just after hearing it in Multiverse of Madness. And so, I don't know. I think it's great, but I hope they don't keep doing this because they've already kind of overdone it at this point.
No way. No way.
They're gonna keep hearing
way.
I'm telling you, San Diego Comic-Con, they're gonna riff that when they announce it. I don't know why my camera
we just lost Ryan's camera. It might died or something like that.
Okay, that was really weird. It just like randomly disconnected my camera, but fuck the technology, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited because it finally means that now they're moving forward into the X-Men territory. Because I think, I don't want to say complaint, but something everyone's had on their mind for the past few years, or at least since it's been announced, that they're bringing the X-Men into the MCU in 2019. I mean, by the point we start getting X-Men stuff, like first reveals, like I'm sure they might just reveal a director or something, or something that San Diego or D23, because between that and Fantastic Four, I really don't think we're far on casting and knowing who's gonna be. Like, the X-Men is so big, like there's so many possibilities with this that that's why I love it so much.
Yeah. That was my response when you messaged us in the chat in the morning about what could possibly happen at San Diego Comic-Con. It is the mutants. We're going to get full-on mutants when it goes down. I have no doubt. And it's going to take over everything. It's going to be just a huge event. Kaylin says, I had to also think about Monica. Kaylin, like, if there was any win about Phase 4, it's the fact that I fucking can't wait to see the Marvels. Like, I had, now we've got Monica, we've got Kamala. I don't care anything about Captain Marvel or Carol Danvers. I can't wait to see Kamala on the big
They
screen.
realized that once they called it the Marvels.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah, literally.
The reason why it's not called Captain Marvel and then the sequel title.
Yeah.
Because I think I hate to be rude like this, but I just think that after that first movie, they're not confident in the name Captain Marvel selling solely, even though it made a shit ton of money. And I said this to Amanda earlier. Captain Marvel's had more appearances as fucking cameos than
and they're not even good cameos. They're not even good like cameos, to be honest, except for this one. This is probably the best.
You're telling me you didn't love her fake wig from Shang-Chi?
Stop. She has looked horrible in every other one. Like, it hurts. But honestly, I'm not a fan of Carol Danvers either. I did not like the first movie. So I'm just really excited that we're going to get one singular director with Nia DaCosta and one vision to kind of like carry this out. And then this cast is stellar. So I'm so stoked.
Yeah, let's get into theories about where the Marvels is going later. We have Loretto saying, "Hi guys, I suck." It's all right, Loretto. We love you. All good, man. Tyler says everyone should get the X-Men theme when they appear on stage. On screen. I 100% agree, Tyler. Like, as someone who grew up watching that as a kid, I want all of that. And we've got some weirdo watching us as well. What's going on? The goal? All right. I'll throw it to you, Amanda, before I go off on a rant. What's your take on the mutants reveal?
This just made Bruno one of my favorite characters ever because the line delivery was just so good. It was so intense, and it's just like, just even him saying the word, I'm like, yes, this is perfection. So I love him. And the only thing with this is that we're not going to get the mutants within the next like 2-3 years. You know what I mean? Like it's so like far into the future, and like these drops are great and they get us excited, but like we need like more confirmation. We need something concrete, and I know that we may get an STC. We don't know, but it's just
totally
like
gonna argue you on this one.
Okay,
I'm totally
okay.
gonna argue you on this.
Okay,
one.
go ahead.
You just
Yeah.
triggered me a little bit with that comment.
I'm sorry.
Because, no, I absolutely agree with what you just said. With how it's primarily been the movies that have done this, where their post-credit scenes just tease things that we're not going to find out about for another 5 fucking years. I mean, we're not even going to find out about Adam Warlock that got teased in 2017 before the MCU even grew to as big as it is. Multiverse of Madness took 6 years to come out. They still haven't even done anything with our Earth's Mordo, and they're building up all these other things that have been really weird, but I think they did it right in this one because they led to the future, but they're also leading into the next project, which is the thing I think they're failing at with the post-credit scenes is they're teasing things, but they're teasing things 10 movies, 5 years in advance. When if you look back at the post-credit scenes, not only did they tease the future, but they tease the future in the next film at the same time and where these characters are going next. Like in Thor: Love and Thunder, Thor will return. Like, great, but what does that mean anymore? When they said that back then, it's like, oh, in the Avengers in the next 2 years and so forth. Like, I'm going to see him in his own Disney Plus show, Love and Thunder, with him and his daughter running around space saving people as he's being hunted by Hercules. And you started me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My main complaint with it. But I think they did it right by teasing the mutants, but also giving us that tease in the post-credit scene in a few minutes later about what we're going to be expecting next summer with Miss Marvel, because they're planning for 1 year and then 3 years down the line. So I give them much better credit in this aspect than more of the films. And I would say all the shows have done this. WandaVision's done it, regardless if Multiverse of Madness followed it or not. So that's just my thoughts and opinions on the post-credit scenes. I'm sorry for my little rant. You're more than welcome to go on your little rant.
Your rant dies. Go ahead.
Do you have anything else to add, Amanda?
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah, go ahead.
Kaylin agrees. Never thought I'd say I'm excited for the Marvels. It's like Spider-Man No Way Home. Absolutely a banger, all-time superhero film. WandaVision still, to me, number one. No question. Amazing show. Wait.
You're saying phase 4 of the shows?
Phase 4.
Okay.
And then, I'm just saying phase 4 of like my main 3 takeaways.
Yeah.
And then I'm excited for the Marvels. I cannot believe I'm saying that. It's crazy.
Yeah, right?
Kaylin says, I also just watched the whole X-Men series for the first time. That is awesome. It is so good.
Yeah, baby.
Hopefully we get an epic Cyclops in the MCU. We'll get to that in a little bit. Is the Marvels Captain Marvel, Photon, and Miss Marvel? Yes, it is. So I'm for my take, like, it was awesome. I was like doing the Leonardo DiCaprio, like, I know that the second I heard the guitar riff, I knew exactly what that was. Everybody knows what that is. I'm excited that they're kind of like calling her a mutant rather than an Inhuman. That would have been like a weird thing for Bruno to say. Like, no one talks like that. Like, you're an Inhuman. What? No,
like, what's an Inhuman to you guys? At least that
would have been super awkward for sure. So like Kevin Feige's either like lumping the mutants and the Inhumans together, throwing them in that same bucket, or maybe they haven't decided yet, or
maybe
we don't know yet. Maybe they give us Fantastic Four and X-Men first, and then we'll get the Inhumans later, when things are a little bit more solidified here. So for me, like, I definitely think she's a mutant. I definitely expect Kamala to kind of be unique in her X gene for sure. I think she's gonna have that ability to unlock her part of the Jinn, and I think whereas like regular mutants kind of get their powers more so like biological, physical wise, that's kind of going to be unique to her. I think the bangle thing was really cool because it's not coming from the bangle, it's what she is. And I think I go to this story where like Kamala is hanging out with Wolverine trying to figure out like who she is. Is she an Inhuman? Is she a mutant? And I think that's where this is headed. I think that's where this is headed for sure. And I just love the idea that her powers are more kind of a part of her rather than from a bangle. And I have more theories about that as well. So my take is it's awesome. It's fine that we're here. We're here. We've been hearing about this for years. I think back in 2019, Kevin Feige dropped that. It's been a long time coming. And I think even Kamala referenced it when she was like, it's just a label, kind of like throwing the whole thing in the air. Like, is it Inhuman? Is it mutant? I don't really care personally. I'm just excited that we're getting, closer and closer to this. Kevin Feige from Tyler says, doesn't like the Inhumans, so everyone will be mutants since they have the X-Men.
I disagree because if I'm sure Kevin might not like the Inhumans because everyone doesn't like the Inhumans, especially after that TV show on ABC. I just don't believe that if he would bring the dude back to play Black Bolt, and they even name drop Inhuman, even though it's a different Earth, the fact that he is saying those and allowing them to write that just tells me that he's open to bringing them back. But I definitely think they're the last of the list now. They're going to be after X-Men, after Fantastic Four. I just think the word Inhuman just has a bad taste in a comic book, film, or TV show.
And it's a lot. It's a lot. Look at how much is going on in Phase 4. To have the Inhuman to introduce both at the same time would be kind of crazy. It would be absolutely crazy. I'm gonna throw it to Amanda. Like, what was some of your favorite moments from the finale?
I actually started tearing up when she said, "What was it now?" In
Biggin.
Yes, when she said that in Biggin, I was like, "No, they're gonna do it!" And then they did it, and I was crying because like her arms were like, oh my god, it was like the elasticity was there, and I was like content with it, even though they were cosmic powers. But that's my girl. That is what I was waiting for. Everyone was bitching about the powers the entire time before and after and everything. But I'm like, you have to make that change to kind of fit with what they're trying to do in the Marvels. So in that specific moment, I was just so happy. I'm like, even though they twisted it a bit, like it looked like her and it felt like her. And I was just so happy. I was beaming in that moment. And then the other moment that you touched upon, Dives, because like I'm a sucker for father-daughter relationships. When they're both on that roof, it was just such a beautiful moment. And then I loved the framing where he's just seeing her like go on her little I guess like planks in the sky, and you see it in his eyes, and he's like, magic, just pure magic. I was like, I'm crying. This is such a beautiful moment. So those two in the finale just really stuck with me. And it is like probably like my second favorite Marvel show that has been on there. Yeah, just for those beautiful moments. The more grounded it is, the better it is for me. And I loved it.
Yeah.
All I'll say to Tyler's comment is they killed Reed Richards in his first MCU.
Yeah, but that's alternate version though.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Alternate version.
Nicole says she was beautiful in her costume. Kaylin liked when she got her costume from her mom in the roof scene with her dad. It was so beautiful. It was so passionate. It was just absolutely crazy. Nicole agrees. That moment made her cry. Ryan, what's some of your favorite moments?
I want to ask you guys a question. Did you guys see the leaked photo of Iman Vellani on the set of Captain Marvel 2? No? Okay, anyway. They're already changing her costume. They've gotten rid of the red and blue, apparently. And
I love the costume.
It's gold and black, I think, and with a little bit of gray. I don't like the look.
That's a disservice.
This is such a beautiful moment. Like,
if I can find it again, I'll show you guys. Because when I saw it, the same exact design the suit has, a different color.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Dude, the red and blue works so well on her.
No,
right?
That's not okay. Like, it's so symbolic
because I feel bad.
Like,
it's just
Kamala,
so
the entire amazingness about her character is her family, and her family being part of who she is as a superhero. And Kamala, I hate that decision. I don't like it. I don't like it, Ryan. Find that photo because
I'm literally clipping. I'm gonna clip this for tomorrow.
No. We have Leo in the house from Geekly Goods. Go! Please be sure to go subscribe to Geekly Goods. He says best finale of all the MCU shows. I don't know about that. That's kind of, we'll talk about that in a little bit. It's right there though.
Holy shit! I'm sorry, this just blew my mind. I knew the fucking Bruno actor from somewhere.
What?
The kid was on The Walking Dead, and he was one of the kids that got his head spiked in one season. And I just sorry, that just blew my mind because now I'm gonna send you this photo. It's
Caitlin
so
says no, I don't do leaks or trailers.
Oh,
You're smart. You're a smart one, Caitlin.
I mean,
sure.
I wish I could be the same, but sometimes they just like appear on my feed. Like I feel like I can't just stop it anymore.
Tyler says they have to change costumes each time to sell toys.
I mean,
they do.
I mean, literally, like the moment of her mom giving
do
her
it that way.
costume, so great. It was so great, and like that was like a huge kind of subplot of this series was the mom and Kamala finally like opening up about her being a superhero and her mom accepting it. It was a beautiful moment. That would definitely not be okay. But Ryan, what's some of your favorite moments?
Honestly, it's the father scene and him giving her the name Miss Marvel and the explanation. Because going back to the first 5 episodes, I think I was just curious about like how her origin was going to come together between the outfit and her name. I'm trying to remember, was it the grandmother that gave her the glasses too, or the eyepiece?
that was Bruno.
Bruno gave it to her. Yeah. So I like how they brought each pivotal character in her life, giving her an aspect of the costume, because the grandmother gave her the scarf. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So they all gave. I just love it so much. I think they put a lot of thought and detail into how her origin actually matters to just more than just her powers and the bangle, bringing them out within her and unlocking them. It's each individual piece of her costume is like, this is the best way I can like give you an idea, is it's like a Megazord, bro. Every piece of her is working in interaction based off the character that gave it to her. And I love that so much. And I think that's why I'm kind of upset that they're switching it so fast already. That I don't want to say it takes a lot of that away, but I think it takes a lot of the highlight from the season away when you go into Captain Marvel 2. Because you'll always have that moment and that origin within the show. But I feel like once you go into the sequel and you see it, I'm like, okay, so she just got like a fucking Chitauri upgrade or whatever. Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Geekly Goods says there could be a good reason for it. Maybe the mom made a new costume. For me, Leo, it was definitely a swap.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it's a swap.
No question, it was a swap. We'll get into predictions a little bit because I have a lot. I do have a lot. Real quick, my favorite moments here are absolutely the scene when the community kind of surrounds her and protects her from the Department of Damage Control. That was a really cool moment. Like that was the moment where like as powerful as she is, as like amazing as Kamala is, like her superpower is her community. And I think that's just an amazing kind of finale moment for me, like considering everything they built up this series with her extended family, her immediate family, all that kind of stuff. It worked. It really, really worked. I was like just humble from that moment. I thought the scene at the very end was really well done. It was a scene where she's overlooking the bright lights of New York, and that was just like such a strong parallel when you consider like the first shot of the first episode was her looking at Manhattan in the backseat of her parents' car, like completely oblivious to her destiny. You see her like with her like look, it was like a determined kind of like look, she's looking at New York in her costume, like she's got ambition. You could see like her dreams, her optimism was all on center stage. And I love that moment for her. It was almost like a borderline like Luke Skywalker, twin son moment, where she's like at the starting point of her story. And I just love that kind of symbolism. I thought that was a really, really cool scene. But yeah, I definitely think the dad moment was absolutely perfect. Just goosebumps. Just absolute goosebumps. We got a lot of comments today. Keep them coming. Bad Dog Review says, I'm late. Hey guys, thanks for coming on. Geekly Good says, I think Morph Let's go into quick grades before we go into predictions because that's
Okay.
going to be the bulk of this show. Caitlin says, the moment gave me Spidey vibes, 100%. 100%. Sam Raimi train scene vibes. That was awesome.
Together, baby.
But it wasn't cheesy. It wasn't cringy. I thought they really did it well.
Yeah.
I like the Crystal Igloo, Kamal and Cameron
So
to
cool.
talk things through. Bad Dog Reviews, love the finale. Really didn't disappoint since I was a little skeptical considering last week's episode. Amanda, how would you grade the finale?
This stuck the landing. It really did. It tied up loose ends. It looked to the future. And you got some, final character, not development. Oh my God, you have Kamala in her full form, and I think she's a well-rounded character, and it wasn't rushed. I think like they did everything, well in each episode to kind of build her up. And I love that they introduced the Bangle and then brought in her heritage while still addressing that she has these cosmic powers. So I felt that there was a very strong blend, and it paid off in the finale. I really loved them. Yes, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, guys, for coming by tonight. But yeah, I would give this like a 9 out of 10. It really just stuck the landing for me.
Yeah.
Post-credit scene wasn't cheesy. It worked. And Bruno, thank you for dropping that little word because it was perfect. So that line delivery just meant everything. So yeah 9 out of 10.
What about you, Rod?
No, I'm agreed. 9 out of 10. And I think most of this finale is great. I think I mentioned my one problem with it earlier, and that's Conron. I felt like throughout the entire episode, they were just juggling back and forth whether they wanted him to be a bad guy or be a good guy. And I'm like, are you guys ever going to make him turn on Kamala? I'm like, he's got the same powers, it seems. They never really go into his powers. Obviously, they wanted to lead that somewhere as well. But honestly, I really don't give a shit about Kamran, especially if he's not going to be with Kamala, of all people, and he's not going to be with anyone other than the ninja from the Red Daggers, who we only saw in an episode and a quarter pretty much at this point. So, well, I just like, bro, come on, Bruno, just give him up. Who cares about him? Like, you guys can stop this right now and just give him up.
There's some Spider-Man in Kamala's character, right? Like she refuses. That's part of her charm is she's kind of that there's a lot of parallels between Spider-Man and Kamala Khan's character. Like she's not going to just give him in, or she's family. Cameron is like, she wants to save everyone, and that's her with power comes responsibility. And that Kamala kind of shares a little bit of that.
I like what Caitlin says is like, I like that Kamran wasn't just a black and white character, because honestly, I'm glad that I don't really because I feel like he might have been black and white, honestly, as a character. I mean, what did he ultimately really do as a character? He didn't do anything to help Kamala like Bruno did, or the ninja from the Red Daggers. He's never really moved her plot forward. His mom literally left him to fucking rot in a jail cell, and he's got the same powers as Kamala, and they just hint that I don't know what the whole him saying it was closing in on himself. Like, I'm like, what are you guys trying to tell me his power is? Because there's obviously that I feel like there's that extra step to his power that came into him when his mother transferred the powers into him. Like, it's kind of hard to explain because the mother transferred her powers, but it seems like he got a little bit of that portal that opened up, like whatever that power was coming out. So a lot of questions in that aspect, but ultimately there's nothing emotionally connecting me to him or really making me care about where he goes next, because they introduce him in episode 2, 3, and then they drop him for 2 episodes because, oh, look, we're going to introduce his mom, who's going to be not even a secondary villain. She's going to come in for an episode and a half and then die later because she stabs a bracelet. But yeah, and then they just like, oh yeah, we have this character still left, so let's just throw him into the finale because he's at the end.
Leo says, thanks to Marvel against Encanto's wishes, everyone is talking about Bruno now. Is the best comment of the day so far.
That's my boy, okay? I love him.
So I think where I will kind of play devil's advocate with the Cameron character in this show is that you look at the beginning of the show, you look at where it ended. Kamala was definitely kind of like searching for her own purpose, for her own identity. And I think at the finale, she kind of found who she is. She was accepted by her parents. She was accepted by her family. They were proud of her. And kind of comparison wise, Cameron was kind of lost as well. Like he didn't know what his purpose was. He was lost in time, all that kind of stuff. Now that he lost his mom, he's even more lost. And I found Kamala choosing love and compassion and trying to protect him to be that much more impactful for me. Does that make any sense?
No, like I said, I think this is one of those things where it just comes down to what is our appetite when it comes to the story. Because I would have much rather just see Bruno for the entire season than have Cameron come in at all. But I do want to touch on what Nicole is asking about the color difference, because I want to give you a 50-50 answer right now, because it could be one of two things. It could be her power difference, or they do a lot with color changes and power to help indicate who's who. And that's why, like, when you see in Harry Potter Part 2, Deathly Hallows Part 2, Voldemort's just got this bright red beam, like it's like a lightsaber or something. So it could be one of those two, but I'm hoping it could be a mutant gene thing for her. I mean, the opportunity is there for them to have that as the explanation.
Yeah, I think you're right on it. I definitely think that's part of it, is the mutated gene piece here. I agree. I think it's a 9 out of 10. Across the board, everyone loved it. Let's go into predictions, and let's go to Leo's comment, which was the big reveal with Carol Danvers swapping places with Kamala, and then you kind of see Carol Danvers like kind of confused. She's looking at all the decor around Kamala's room, and it's her, and she's like kind of like giving that like oh shit face and leaves. What was your reaction to that, Amanda? And do you have any like theories about any of that?
Honestly, I don't know. I think those like the portal thingy was really weird to me. It was something new. And then I was talking to Ryan about it. I feel like we haven't seen that, but he says that we have seen it elsewhere. But we've seen portals, but it's not like, I don't know. I feel like that one was just different. I don't know where the future's going to go. I just want to see them again. Pretty much. You guys are like prediction kings. Like, I'm going to let you guys take it over, because I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I thought it was a really cute moment.
Kaylin says at its core, it's a coming of age story. 100%. I think Cameron's power colors also indicates his powers from the Jinn dimension, and he kind of absorbed it. That's probably correct.
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan? What's your take?
I was like, so we at least guessed half of what this post-credit scene was going to entail, but it's definitely not how I expected it to go, because there's a lot to just like dissect within this one scene, and what it could be between a swap or a transformation. Is she starts feeling weird, Kamala gets up, next thing you know, when she portals or gets zapped into that ball thing, she's also pushed back. So there's some sort of force to it. It's not as easy as popping in and out. So that's what I'm really trying to figure out what this is, and I think that's where we can find the answer, because the way I think Carol was looking at the photos was like, wow, why are there so many fucking posters of me all over the place? That's how I took her reaction, because I think it's kind of interesting seeing how people are differently interpreting this scene, and as she's confused at her body. But I think it's because she doesn't know where she is. And when they teleported, they had that boom effect. So not only did she teleport, but she got blasted too. So if I was in their case, I'd be very confused. So there can be a sense of a confusion from that, or it could be Kamala. But I'm with you, Dee. I totally think that they swapped places, and it has something to do with, obviously, what's happening with Captain Marvel 2 or the Marvels, because I think I said this in a tweet earlier. I think this scene in particular is playing about into the end of Act 1 of the movie. I think this is going to be the point where they're going to introduce them as characters in the movie, because they're bringing them in slowly. We saw in WandaVision that she sent Skrulls to get Monica Rambeau. But this seems like one of those cases where Kamala accidentally popped up, and I think her mutation or her power has something to do with that. Like, it's hard to tell, really, because we don't know anything about the Marvels. We have no clue what the plot of this movie is entailing, because we have Secret Invasion, so I couldn't even imagine the Skrulls playing a massive role in the Marvels, because I'm sure Secret Invasion is coming early next year at this point.
Yeah.
So it kind of mind boggles me, like, holy shit, I feel like I got half of it, but then there's so much unexplained territory that I feel like we can't even go into past movies to really explain.
We got some great comments here. Let's go to these real quick. All right. So, Leo, the way I interpreted it.
Wait, hold on. So, something just in my head, too. Also, when you're looking at the way she's reacting, look at her powers, too, on her fingers. It doesn't look like Kamala's.
Okay.
So that's all I'll say too. Sorry.
Leo says as she looks at her hands, then all of the Captain Marvel poses, she realizes she changed into Carl. Oh no. And it also happens early on in a Miss Marvel run in the comics. Yeah, that's interesting. Caitlin says Captain Marvel also has a different costume, no sleeves. That is definitely interesting. That's interesting. Caitlin says I think that Carol might have been in the middle of something important, then panicked of being zapped away, swapped places. That's how I interpret it. And Nicole thinks she saw a bangle on her wrist. I'm not really sure if there was a bangle or not. All right, here we go. Stay with me, guys. Stay with me.
Yay.
We're gonna get into this scene, and I'm gonna wrap it up into where we're headed. This is kind of my outline where I think we are headed here. I think we're going to look into the very first mutants. We could be talking about Apocalypse. We could be talking about Namor, who we know, I think, will be in Black Panther 2. And we know we're getting a trailer of that very, very soon. So there could be some connection there. So here's my take. We're going back years and years and years ago, Apocalypse, Namor, whatever. We know that the Cosmic Empire is like an Asgard. We're probably scared of the emerging mutants. I think there was very much a war between the mutants and Asgard, or the Cosmic empires here, and they found a way to repress the mutant powers across the planet, and I think probably imprisoned Namor or imprisoned Apocalypse. Meanwhile, Apocalypse finds a way to make artifacts that can unlock mutant powers in different individuals. That will explain why we haven't seen any of that this entire time throughout the MCU. It would also explain why in that post-credit scene in Shang-Chi that the rings and the bangle are artifacts that kind of enhance mutant abilities. It would also give us a history of, being oppressed, which, is the best story for X-Men, bar none. We know that Bruno in episode 2 literally says to Kamala, it's the bangle unlocked the superhuman part of you. So my guess here, circling back, is that Carol found the other bangle. They swapped places through magic, and we know that Carol is already looking for similar items like the Shang-Chi rings. We know they revealed that, I think in episode 3, that there's a tie-in with the 10 rings from that first scene. I think, and we know there are 2 bangles, so I think it's 100% lock that they're going to throw it to the Kree who created the mutants, and that's where the Marvels is headed. I think it's very likely that Kamala is probably in the negative zone or hanging out with the Kree or doing something. And I think it's a really good bet that it's the Kree that infiltrated Earth in pursuit of finding those mutants that Apocalypse was able to unlock. I think a secret war is waging between the Kree, the Skrulls, and the X-Men, which would explain why the X-Men have been hiding this entire time. That would lead us to Secret Wars, and that would throw Kamala directly in the middle of all this to know, is she a mutant? Is she an Inhuman? I think that is where this is headed. Any reaction to that?
So my first reaction to that, my guy, is you just pretty much confirmed like when Secret Invasion might come out. It's not. I don't think it'll come out before Captain Marvel 2. I think it's gonna be the next. I think it's gonna be the next thing after Captain Marvel. I think it's gonna come out next summer or something. And true, that's how they're gonna connect these two. Nick Fury's also in both of them, by the way. So he's gonna be that connective tissue, because we also got to think about what was that motherfucker doing on the ship in Far From Home. Like, why was his ass too lazy to go down and help Peter? Why did he have to send Talos and his wife to do his job? And maybe this is what they've been fighting. I've heard rumors that the plot around Secret Invasion is a pretty bare plot. It's about bad Kree infiltrating Earth superheroes and taking them over and fucking with people and stuff like that.
I think they're looking for mutants.
Yeah, so that's where I'm coming into this. Is I think they're going to be coming in Secret Invasion. I think whatever's going to happen in Captain Marvel 2 is going to lead into Secret Invasion, and we're going to see because Talos is also in Secret Invasion also. And what I want to say, I think the plot is going to be like a secret breed of bad Kree are going to come down to planet Earth to try and take over the bodies of our superheroes. And we also got to take into consideration, this is not a movie, this is also a show. So they're not going to have as big as the comics get, because in the comics it's all the superheroes, Iron Man, like characters we don't even have anymore. So they have to find a way to bring it down to a smaller size, and I think this might be the way. I think they're going to take some of the bigger players in the MCU and use those into the story and keep it a small and contained story rather than the comic book, which is a massive universe story.
I definitely think the Department of Damage Control is definitely going to be something we see more and more of. And I would not be shocked at all to see that they're the ones that implement the Sentinel program, and probably using Tony Stark technology. And probably we'll learn that Bolivar Trask is part of that as introduced at some point.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
What?
This is too much. Oh my god! It's
Come on,
so
guys!
Detailed. I love it. It's so detailed, but I'm like, damn, this is gonna be like a decade's worth of content. Honestly, like that's insane.
It's happening. It's happening. All right.
But like, so I'm just curious now for San Diego Comic-Con, because that Kevin Feige has already said it's going to be much more clear after that where this entire phase of new content is going. And dude, I swear to God, every single episode between the finales and the movies, we've came up with so many different plot lines that I just can't even imagine how they're gonna connect them all, bro. Because
at this point, I don't even care. Like, I don't care. I want that. I want more mutants. Like, it just focuses on the mutants.
I think that's what they're gonna. I think that's where this next phase of the MCU is going. Where
I hope
we're gonna have the Infinity War story, but that's where the entire universe comes together. But now we're gonna have these smaller type of Avenger stories happening. Yeah. We've got the Thunderbolts. We've got Secret Invasion. We've got the Young Avengers, and that's probably going to be the Avengers of this new decade of Marvel.
Yeah, by the time they grow up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious. I can't wait to see him on.
Yeah.
Just
so excited for him.
The rest of these fucking characters.
Tyler says, how do we factor the screaming goats into all of this? That's the point. Is like there's so many plots that they're not going to be able to wrap all that out.
No way. This thing's going to go on for another like 20 years.
Kaylin says the Bengal is probably Kree as well as Tennessee. That's kind of what I was referring to. Like that's all that artifacts and technology that was probably created long time ago by Apocalypse or Namor or something, and that's kind of why it's not. No one knows what it is.
Are there like any new projects coming up that we can think of that might have a type of artifact that the person uses at all? Because honestly, other than Shang-Chi, they make it pretty obvious, but with Miss Marvel, they made it pretty obvious too. But the thing that I can think of right now is leading to another artifact, because the artifacts have been with the major players so far too. They've not been with the minor characters. So I
feel would have been in Moon Knight, to be honest. There would have been a connection in Moon Knight, no? Yeah.
No?
It's artifacts in Moon Knight.
Maybe.
I don't think so. I don't know why they would when they come out saying that they're making this as least connected to the MCU as possible.
No, I'm saying it's the only one that has an artifact that's
don't even
not
mention any Avenger or any of the Avengers.
That's what I'm saying. It's the only one that hasn't. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I just feel like that'd feel odd to just have an artifact for the next project randomly. And I'm sure they didn't even think that this would be the next project when they were developing all these.
Yeah.
So, like, the sword. Yeah, but the sword at the end of Eternal. See, that's the thing. I feel like they're going to pay that off in Blade. But I don't think it's going to be an artifact, because the ebony sword is what makes him into Black Knight. And from what I know on the character, is Black Knight is he is an anti-hero, but he leans more on the darker villain side.
Like, Caitlin, that was like the first thing that, like, I literally just thought that. I don't know if that's so funny. Like, what if it's one of the swords, that black sword that Jon Snow picks up?
That might be
something that unlocks mutant abilities.
We don't know.
Okay, so this might be a little bit of an over-explanation, but do you think for a first appearance of one of these, second appearance of one of these things, do you think they'd really make it into a post-credit scene?
They could. And
Black Knight I don't think he's going to be a main role, like, Avenger-type character. No. And they've been they've set it up with the two massive Avengers going forward between Shang-Chi and Kamala. So I'm not in disagreement with that, because I can totally see that. But just seeing the way that Marvel has kind of done their trickery in the past, I feel like that they can get away with just saying that it's the Ebenezer sword and it gives him his powers, you know? But I would be curious if it is, because I think I was gonna call him Jon Snow. That's really bad. That's really bad. I was just gonna.
It's gonna stick. It's so bad.
I've never watched the show, and I'm gonna fucking call him Jon Snow. But Jon Snow, I think they got a really good guy or actor to play Black Knight.
It's good.
Yeah. You say what you want. No one listens to you.
Caitlin says, "Do we want new mutants?" I don't want the. So I'm in the minority here. I want new Fantastic Four characters, and I want new OG. Like, not the I don't want like John Krasinski. Like, I want new. I'm not on that boat. And same for the X-Men. Like, I want new Cyclops. I want new Charles Xavier. I want all of it new. There's so much. Like, let that die. Like that.
My heart breaks though. Because James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender were phenomenal, and like we're never gonna get that back. But like you said, I know I'm excited for new people for sure.
There's just another reason to see another version of those. Like, I don't know. And also the MCU, you can just bring anyone back. So why just recast the old when you can bring them back at the whim of your hand?
I know.
Kaylin says the arm on when they found the bangle in the tomb was blue with the 10 ring symbol on the ground. Absolutely. There's definitely going to be a tie-in there. So let's just we'll wrap it up. I'll throw it to you, Ryan. Like, what's your overall grade of the series, and where does you kind of lie when it comes to Disney Plus MCU shows?
So I think this show is defined in two parts: episode 1, 2, and 6, and 3, 4, and 5. And I think they're telling two different stories for this character and not truly deciding on which one to go through. I think the 1, 2, and 6 episodes are so fucking strong, and the character work in between 3 and 4 is super strong, that this show has been one of the better ones. I think I ranked it at number 4 overall on the shows. I think I got WandaVision at number 1, Hawkeye at number 2, Loki at number 3, and then I got Miss Marvel at number 4. But I only feel that way because I feel like at least with those top 3, they've had a consistency throughout their entire season. Regardless if it's a great consistency, a medium consistency, or bad consistency, I think it's always better that they can tonally and just keep the show the same throughout the season. And I think that's been the biggest struggle for some of these Marvel shows. Falcon and the Winter Soldier in particular. I don't really want to say What If. I know What If is kind of connected. It is connected with Multiverse of Madness, but I really just don't know if we can really consider that it's a MCU show. I mean, I guess it is an MCU show, but fuck me, am I right? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling like I'm tired of all this, because I feel like that's been the biggest conversation going on now is what are we watching? It kind of just feels like rinse and repeat with these 6 episodes. None of these seasons so far since WandaVision have done much different. They all kind of have the same pattern where the first episode's strong, the second episode's either strong or not, and then the whole middle of the season, everyone's just like, how is this going to end? They can't possibly end this correctly. And then the finale is just like the same as the second episode. It's either really good or it sucks. And I feel like criticism for like these shows has gone really weird in that aspect. And yeah. I think that's why I really like talking about it at the same time, is so we can sit here and realize that these 6 episodes aren't working. They might work for some shows, but they're not working for all the shows. And I think that's been sort of my defense for She-Hulk. She-Hulk's 10 episodes. Say what you guys want about the fucking CGI on She-Hulk, but the CGI for Kamala's powers in this show were not fucking fantastic.
I liked it.
Mile.
I liked it too.
No, that's not what I said. I said fantastic. I found them enjoyable. They were cool, but
they were great.
I think it worked for the tone of the show.
Yes.
I don't disagree.
Yes,
I think that's what I'm getting at. I think they made it work between the tone of the show and the great character work with the family and Kamala.
Yeah.
Just totally, like, have you heard, like, I'm usually a stickler for CG, but have you really seen me talk about the CG in the show at all this season? No, because I think it's such a minimal problem with such great things. And I feel like that's what we need to get in more of the mindset for with She-Hulk, because I feel like now everyone thinks they're this auteur critic looking at these comic book films as if they're the fucking next Citizen Kane or something. Like, no, bro, take them at face value and criticize them. Like, come on, don't sit here and tell me that this shit has been the best shit you've ever seen in the MCU just because the last 5 minutes just name drop something you're going to see in 5 years, and then the post-credit scene tease something 1 year later. Very true. No, like the middle of the season was not great by any means. No. And I think that's why I'm getting so aggravated about it, because I see so many people rate these shows super high based off their final episodes without giving them the actual criticism that they deserve. Because you either get too much criticism for these shows or no criticism whatsoever.
I mean, they ripped Falcon and the Winter Soldier to shreds.
That's what I just said. It's either too much criticism or no criticism whatsoever.
It breaks my heart. I know, it sucks.
And I think that's why I cherish WandaVision so much, is because it was the first of a new phase in this world, not even in this metaphorical world, but even in our real world, not even coming out of the pandemic, but in the pandemic, looking at the world that we've come into and looking at the MCU moving forward, and kind of a parallel, just massive world events going on in our world and the fake world. So it was really refreshing to see everyone talk about that in a kind of collective way and level-headed way, if you guys want. I know Mephisto, I know every week we're talking about what could lead next, but I felt like we need to go back to these fair criticisms, because Miss Marvel was great, but I'm not going to sit here and say that it didn't have its problems. So ultimately, I'm going to give it an 8.4 out of 5 as a season.
All right. What about you, Amanda?
I'm looking at my ranking. I still have Moon Knight at number 1 for me. That really just blew
Nice.
my mind, and I have a nice connection to it. Miss Marvel's in second, just because Iman Vellani's Canadian and she's from here where I am, and she's a superstar, and I'm just like so happy and proud of her. I just really love the tone of the whole show. I really do. I think it's rooted in family and heritage, and then the superpowers are on the side, and then it just all comes together so beautifully in this finale, and I think it really worked for what it was. I do agree with Ryan that the middle of this season wasn't the strongest, but this finale stuck the landing. And then I have Falcon and the Winter Soldier in third. Sorry guys, I'm so sorry. And then I can't believe I'm gonna say this, I have Loki, WandaVision, and then Hawkeye. I am so sorry. I had to break it down, but yeah, that's where I would rank all of these. I'm sorry for Hawkeye, Rye.
No, I just, it's fine. You like BVS, and I just know your taste is
oh my god,
palatable. I know, it's fine. It's fine. I've accepted it.
Jesus.
WandaVision is number 1. No question. No question. That's still the king. Then I will go Miss Marvel number 2. Then I'll go kind of like a tie, like 3A and 3B. That will be Loki and Moon Knight. And then essentially it's just the rest. The rest I like honestly don't care about. That's Falcon and Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, all those other ones I'm never gonna watch those ever again. That's how I'd rank. I think I'll give this a solid, and a little higher than you, Ryan, like an 8.8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I can't deny the weaknesses. But I will say, like, this is I like to think back to like my reaction at the end of Loki, at the end of Moon Knight, at the end of WandaVision, at the end of Miss Marvel. Like, I'm really high on it. I'm really excited. I truly am excited. Like, at the end of Moon Knight, it wasn't that exciting. It was super exciting with Loki when we were raving about the multiverse and stuff like that. And I thought WandaVision was just terrific. So I think it's totally fair. For me, I'm putting this at number 2. Number 2 MCU show. Amanda's list is void. Oh, man.
Why is it always my list? I don't like this bullying, guys.
You don't need to like it. That's fine.
Kaylin likes WandaVision. 1, 2 Loki, 3 Moon Knight, 4 Miss Marvel, 5 Hawkeye, 6 Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I have Moon Knight at 5, surprisingly.
I definitely I'm definitely biased when it comes to this show, Miss Marvel. Like the father-daughter, the mother-daughter, the grandmother-daughter, the cultural aspects. Like, I really thoroughly enjoyed like the whole Pakistan type, even though they didn't film it there. Like there were so many elements of this show that I think really worked. And I will say, like, this probably has, when we look back at these shows, like, this probably will have the most connective tissue to a lot of stuff, at least the meat of Phase 5, where we're headed. So let's wrap it up. We're an hour over already. Amanda, plugs. Anything you want to plug?
Oh my god, actually I have nothing. Oh, I have a review of Persuasion on Netflix coming out. It's dropping tomorrow. Not the best Jane Austen adaptation, but I watched it for Dakota Johnson. That's dropping on Netflix. Gray Man's on Friday, which I'm really excited for. And that's pretty much it this week. There's nothing really coming out. So yeah, my Persuasion review is on candidexcinema.com tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Awesome. What about you, Ryan?
Nothing much, but guys, check out the House of Cinema podcast on our channel, obviously. Holy shit. I mean, first episode, we talked Love and Thunder. Fucking love that conversation. New episodes every Tuesday, so be on the lookout for that. Stay on our Twitter account to make sure you know what films we are covering that week. And yeah, dude, I love talking about Marvel. Like, I know we shit on that shit all the time, but like, it brings us together. I'll say that. It brings us together.
It's true, because next week is San Diego Comic-Con from the 21st onwards. So keep it locked on our Twitter, on our YouTube. We're going to be reacting to some trailers and all that news. Right, Dads?
A little bit.
What else we got?
I will say, Top Gun was really cool, but there is a new movie of the year.
No fucking way, Deebs. Please, no.
No question.
Way. What is it?
No question, it blew me away. I finally got to see everything everywhere all at once.
Okay, fair.
And
That's fair.
That had to be one of the best movies I've seen in years. That was the most creative, funny, amazing film in a long time. That was awesome. I was so happy with that. The way it ended, like I don't know how else to explain it. It was great.
I gotta watch it still.
Felt like a rock sitting on a mountainside, didn't you?
Exactly. It was so good. So my movie of the year by far is, I'll say 1A, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Then it's Top Gun. Tyler, I was hoping you would say Minions. I'm not watching Minions.
You weren't gonna go suited up in a tuxedo?
Come on.
You're not classic.
All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please be sure to smash that subscribe button if you want more Marvel and MCU takes. Follow Amanda on Twitter at AMXNDA Reviews. Check out Candid Cinema. That is Batnips down there at Just Ryan again. Check out the House of Cinema podcast, reviewing all the latest movies and TV shows and such. Don't follow me. You don't want to do that. I am wearing an Avengers Dad shirt, by the way. So I
love it.
I love it, Deebs. I love it.
That's why you should follow Mr. Crowdpot on Twitter.
I love you 3000. It's one of my favorite shirts. So thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll be back next week for sure. For Amanda, for Ryan, for myself, stay awesome.